He was employed to start the offices of Facebook here in Australia. Every person that has been employed here has been employed by CJ. What Nick Bowditch does now, CJ used to do. But now CJ has started his own company called Stencil. It's a social media company that helps companies just like us utilise their Facebook and social media pages to get real return on investment in what they do. All right, so could you please put your hands together for CJ?
Thanks, buddy. Thanks, that's great. So he just did my presentation. So I'll just repeat myself for a while. Morning, guys. Actually, I'm really privileged to be able to come at this late notice problem. I think Nick's had 5 children, which is great. So I've had 5 presentations since Nick's worked here. But just listening to you guys a moment ago, I'll tell you my story. But I met this guy. It's like funny how you meet people. True story. Had this hairdresser. Built a relationship with her. She's really awesome. Well, I mean, you'd be the judge of that. But she introduced me to her boyfriend, and he worked at Snap Printing for 7 years. I think we all know Snap. And he said to me, he's like, I've got this idea. I speak to a lot of companies that try and they conceptualize their idea and present it to me, and I kind of figure it out whether I think it will work or not. He's like, what I can do is like, literally, you know the people that have, you know, there's all these things that you have in your house that's got like latte, or like it would be Wollongong and suburbs and latte and cafe life and beach. I was like, yeah. He's like, I want to do this for sports fans. I can print it, it's pretty cheap. I just don't know whether there's a market or not. And I was like, have a go, see what's happening. So he kicked off, and he created, this is July 28th was his first day. And he did the classic thing, just like, let me just show you. So he the Turnstile Print Company, he's like, let's just post these 2 things and see what happens. He didn't have any commentary, didn't have anything to say to anybody, didn't have any fans, and then he liked his own post. That's kind of like the worst thing you could ever do in life. You know, imagine me coming in and going like, hey, I'm CJ, I'm awesome. And that's exactly what he went and did. So I kind of helped him, just a tiny bit of advice. He's a friend, so I haven't really, you know, it's not a consultative charge. And this is his latest post. I wanted to actually use it as a case study today. And I said to my business partner this morning, I said, let's post his latest post, his latest product. What he's trying to do is celebrate Cats versus, if you're into AFL, Swanee's playing the Cats tonight. So he wants to sell his canvases. Anyway, so I was like, let's whack $250 on it. $250 isn't going to get you a classified in the Wentworth Courier. You won't ever get seen. So like, let's spank $250 on it. And I did that this morning before I got here, and I was like, hopefully, you know, no one's up. And then, so he's got it. He's really direct. Cats fans, so we're targeting people that like the Cats and Swannies. Not anybody. Good job. Clear call to action. Come and buy my product, please. And here's a little discount. Sweet. So I just checked it like 15 minutes ago in the introduction. So he's still doing the nightmare thing, like liking his own post. But 79 other people this morning have liked it. 79 people. And I'm like, that's cool. Then 15 people shared it. Now, on Facebook, we have on average 250 friends. So if I'm awful at math, but 250 times 15, for free. I knew it. I was just trying to test you guys. But like, that's free advertising. That's me saying, hey, this is such a great product. This is this dude's product. I want to tell my friends about this product. I've never seen an advert like it in my lifetime. And I was like, I'm going to check out the comments, because obviously like comments can get weird on Facebook and social media. But not here. The comments are like, Chris Congo, telling Craig Wilson, actually telling Craig, literally like knocking on Craig Wilson's door going, check this product out, you should buy it. And it goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. $79. Anyway, I know that we run $250 advertising campaign for him last week, and he made $5,000. in about 24 hours. So he's kind of comfortable that he left Snap printing. Anyway, I didn't even plan this. It was just like a quick story. I'm so impressed by it. Anyway, so I'm going to talk just lightly today. It's Saturday morning. I'll tell you my story, then I'll talk about the Facebook story. Is everyone on Facebook here? Bring the hands up, please. Brilliant. So you all use it like in your personal lives. Do you use it for your business? No? A lot? Yeah? Okay. Like, is it working for you? Like thumbs up or dodgy or down? It's working. Brilliant. Dodgy? Dodgy? Okay. Hopefully I'll talk at a high level about just some general things today. Please throw questions at me. I just don't like the sound of my own voice. And so let's keep it engaging. I'll talk about me, talk about Facebook as a company, and then we'll talk about like how their way of thinking is dedicated to us as businesses. Let me get this on. Okay, yeah, hi. So this is me. Born at Facebook. I was so lucky to get the job at Facebook. It's incredible. Yeah, there's probably a 90-minute story just on getting the job. But I'm a massive sports fan, huge sports fan. Adore surfing, struggling, but adore it. Love cricket, if anyone wants to talk about that. All right. Yeah, that's me. Sorry. I did that. Sorry, but go on, throw it at me. So I worked at Facebook for 4.5 years. And it's probably the best job I ever had, and it will be the best job I ever have, I reckon, as a job. So I was like, right, it's time I leave. I'm leaving. And I walked out of the office literally thinking I was David Beckham. That's a fact. Literally with the Olympic torch, I'm a legend. Then within a week, it's a true story, I'm literally shuddering, not knowing what to do in my future, not actually just thinking like I was lost. I was literally lost. And it's not a big sob story, I just picked up pretty quickly. I was like, what do I want to do with myself? I'm going to create a company called Stencil. And the name Stencil is because it's a very simple concept, is that whether you like stencil art or not, doesn't matter. It's very simple, cut a shape out and fill it in. And that's what my business is there to do for other businesses. It's to create very simple strategies that are not wow factor. So my history is working on Coca-Cola, the Australian government, Omo, Magnum, all those products. And they're always like, give us a massive idea, give us a massive idea. Like, I don't know, like, let's create this hashtag campaign called Moonwalk with your ice cream or something. It's like, stop being ridiculous. Just create a very secure strategy. Facebook is not television. Facebook is not like trying to buy a supplement in the press. It's not like a wacky radio ad. It's just something that we're on all the time, as we'll see in a minute. And so you just should be relevant, just like we are as humans. So that's what I really work hard on that with companies I work with. We're in a crazy world where we see about, I think the stats are we have 120 marketing messages pushed at us every day. Most of those are wasted. So Stencil as a company wants to reach this dude and no one else, because he's the guy that wants to actually buy your turnstile print. He's your Geelong Cat fan. Hopefully there is only one of them. But once you find that person, it's the next important point, and I'll go into it deeper, is not to just shove a fluffy cat in their face. Or like, what a beautiful sunrise this morning. It's actually there's no point posting on Facebook or on social media. You know, it takes time and effort and sometimes money. That if it doesn't deliver, and for me this image says a lot. It's that one moment in time where you actually do read the newspaper and you've got this coffee and nothing else, no matter what noise is in the background, nothing's affecting me. It's purely like, I'm so engrossed in this piece of content that I'm reading about and getting this amazing experience. There's no point putting the effort in after. So it comes down to a very simple thing. If you can reach the right person and you can say the right thing, they're going to love your company. They're going to advocate your company. They're going to tell their friends about your company, and they're going to buy your product. And then the other thing is also very important, I think, is to never forget the purchase funnel. So technology is moving super quick, and we probably get lost in it. You know, Snapchat came out the other day, or whatever. Instagram's launching video. You do twit pics now, and all these analytics. And so everyone's like, we've got to get on social media. I've got to be on social media. It's like, what are you doing on social media? What's it actually doing for your business? So we should go back to very traditional theories. Like, are people in your area, are people in Wollongong aware of your business? Yes, no, it doesn't matter. If they are they actually considering your company or your products? Like, how are you keeping us in the consideration set? And then what are we actually doing to actually sell stuff? And we should always follow that cycle. It happens across, whether you're a big company or a tiny company, or a human trying to make someone aware of who you are at a party. There's nothing different. And a couple of examples of where it works is that, so we look after these two companies, Arnett. So Arnett's all about Josh Kerr and this amazing surfer and this great snowboarder. It's like, well, it doesn't resonate with us. But this guy does, because we all want to go to Threadbow next week. It's just a dude on a chairlift. And that's product placement in a very human sense. South Africa Tourism want us to enter a competition. So let's not go like South Africa's amazing. Let's actually use one of the key values of going there. And you know, shark cage diving, that kind of thing. Talk around the values of not South Africa, but the things that you can do there. And you get this huge, huge engagement as a result. And the other thing that's really important too is they're really happy. South Africa Tourism is really happy because everyone's like, and I hope you guys ask yourselves this, is like, I really want to get to 500 fans, or I really want to get to 1,000 fans, or I want 2,000 fans. You don't really want, it's not about your fan base. It's about how many people you can actually individually reach versus. If you know you're doing a good job with your posts, if you know people are going like, I like this, or they're sharing it, why are we not trying to reach the people that are interested in it? And so many companies just don't do that. They just go, I want to get to that like 25,000. That's going to be awesome. I'm going to tell my boss that I've just done something great. Or the person that just put $50 on it and increase their reach by 100%. Selling. I'm here to tell you how you're going to sell product. So, and these are best practices for it. So this is an awesome question already. So the question was like, is it worthy buying likes? No. I'll tell you why. So I work with Pringles, and they offered $100,000 to enter this competition. What you had to do was like them on Facebook. So 250,000 people liked Pringles in about a week. Then what we found was no one actually gave a damn about it. It was so inauthentic. You know, like, it's like, I don't care about your product. You're not very talkable. I'm not going to share that. But Pringles are thinking, got 250,000 people. I've got 250,000 people that don't care about me. That's the way to think about it, you know? So I would never advise about optimizing for actual likes. It's more about, my page has 700 fans. I don't care whether it's 500 or 1,000, as long as they want to buy social media services, you know? It's just, otherwise it's a cheap commodity. And then the other thing I think about with Stencil is, and oh, by the way, so I wasn't like sucking my thumb anymore. I was like thinking, I've got to try and drive business. It's hectic. Like, I'm not very good at it, quite frankly, at times. And it's really easy for me to say what we do as a company and like how we do it. And they're just words. It's more about like why we do this. Why am I doing this is the most important thing. Because if I understand to myself, like if you can all answer to yourselves, why are you actually running a business for yourself? Answer that question. Not money, not for money, because that's a result, but actually why you're waking up every day and doing this thing, then you are going to be the most successful company ever on social media. Because we can just plug you into relevant conversations every day. Okay, stories. Yep, so I used to work for this company. I used to work for the AFL and NRL and V8 Supercars. And they asked me to monetize their website, which was, quite frankly, disgusting. Really ugly. Imagine going to, who's been to a website and they're like, I just want to find some lifestyle and entertainment news, or I just want to check out the weather. But what you have to do is look at this massive ad for Coach or this movie coming out before you can actually read the content that you want. At what point did Universal Pictures go, I'm really happy with the fact that I forced someone to watch a piece of content that didn't want to watch that content? Like, and I was selling this. I was selling it. Because I'm a salesperson. So then I joined Facebook. And I was like, great, what do you want me to do? They're like, can you just sell, like, go to clients and see if they want this, an image and some text? And again, I was like, what? This sucks. There's not like a big monster walking across the screen or anything, asking for my attention. They're like, nope. You can watch it if you want. You can click the video. You might even like it if you want. But it's completely up to the person. I was like, it's going to be tricky. But no. So I meet this guy, Mark Zuckerberg, and he starts to tell me about the actual mission of the company, which is to, like, literally his mission is to make the world more open and connected, because we will be better off as people by being more open and connected. Not just about, like, me being able to speak to my mum in the UK, so I don't have to go on Hotmail and write a 15-paragraph email about what I did last week. She can just check in every day and see what I'm doing. That makes my life much better. But to be able to see the things that my friends are doing or the cafes they're in, and I might be walking past and have this serendipitous moment where I can go catch up with someone, it's all because of this piece of technology. And that's why this directory of people is now 1.1 billion strong. Nothing else can catch up or keep up. And it's the most simple concept to help people stay more connected and open. So quite frankly, I'm still amazed. So anyway, things got cool. You're able to wear beanies at work and stuff like that. And you hold these big strategy sessions with, this is actually the Commonwealth Bank of Australia. We're like, what do we do? How do we talk to customers? What's our mission? And you have these great sessions, that's amazing. And you hang out with great people. You learn to, like, rip stick. It's just part of the job. This is my business partner, by the way. She's ex-Facebook too. And you're probably thinking, Struth, why is this dude talking about himself the whole time? Well, I don't want it really. But the internet is an incredibly different thing. I didn't need to tell you it. You could have Googled me. You can find out all this information straight away. The web has the web's only 20 years old, 21, 22 years old. The actual paradigm shift in that product since its inception is unbelievable. And I think it's really important that we reflect on that, because it will help you think about how you construct or how you design your business for the internet. So yeah, you can go in and check me out. You can see that I'm into my fitness, and it's because of my Nike app on my phone. I actually publish to the world, like, my runs around Centennial Park. You even listen now and listen to the music I like. Don't know how Justin Bieber got in there, that's a bug. But honestly, and my friends tagging me in Ladies That Do Lunch. Like, you can see all this information yourself. It's just go on the web, and it's such an open and transparent world we live in. You know, like, it wasn't long ago where someone was like, you know, that whole thing of the realm of caller ID on your phone? It was like, well, I'm going to tell someone my phone number. Someone's going to know that I'm calling them. Nah, it's not cool. Now imagine, like, taking a phone call and it's private number calling. You just wouldn't accept it. It's like, open and transparency is just driving our world. And this is why I'm talking about the web. In 1996, the New Yorker wrote this cartoon. And it's like, on the web, no one knows that you're actually a dog. Very simple. Like, I could go on AOL. I could actually get my AOL disk, insert into my computer. I'll go to this chat room and I'll be like, CJ Surfboy 18? Not really good at surfing, not 18. You're just so anonymous and have this inauthentic conversation and kind of quite creepy conversation with other people that are just not telling the truth about who they are. It's different. The world is moving very quickly, very, very quickly, from browsing, where I have to go into this website called Yahoo and dive into lifestyle camping to find out where I can get the best tents. Bad example, maybe. But from 2000 on, I can just go to Google or Bing, Yahoo, and type best tents, buy tents, cheap tents, amazing tents. And that's just one of the most incredible stories in its own right. But from probably 2010 onwards, the world became about discovery. It's all I can instantly reach out to my friend and say, my friends or my network, and go like, where can I get a really great tent? I'm going away this weekend. And within seconds, you'll have answers. And trusted answers. So there's a fundamental difference, like, let's ignore this stuff now. But there's a very fundamental difference between search, which I think is an amazing product, and social. Because it's now just man versus machine. That's essentially what it is. It's Terminator 3. It's like, am I going to trust the recommendations of my friends, or am I going to trust a bunch of computers that said I'm in this area and so I should be matched up with Camping World Wollongong? I don't know. It's up to us. So it's kind of scary. I think it's kind of scary when I think about it. I literally, blogging, Tumblr, Snapchat, Instagram video, Vine, Twitter, Facebook, Google+. Like, what? So technology is moving so quickly, so quickly, like we can get lost in it. And there's no secret sauce to all of this, but it's so important to bear this in mind. I think it will keep you ahead of your competitors if you're really doing social properly, if you're really thinking about social. And that is, technology moves so quickly, like in our lifetime, like literally I think cars are going to be flying, and we're going to be run by robots, but we're never going to change as people. We move so slowly in terms of like how we converse with each other. So, this guy, right, let's imagine, I don't know what you see of this guy, but let's say he's a farmer. Tens of thousands of years ago, we're all farmers. We're all trying to, grow crops and help us survive. And the reason we talk to each other is to help us survive. Like, tell me about the weather. Should I lay my crops here? Is it going to flood? Is there going to be a drought? Plain, like, will I survive? I need your help. I need this information. This is why I'm talking to you. Today, I call my mum up, and I'm like, hey mum, how you doing? She's like, oh, the weather. I'm like, I know the weather's bad, it's England. But it's in our vernacular. It's instantly in our vernacular, because we talk about it every day. Because over tens of thousands of years, we've inherited very traditional things through our lives. Am I making sense? Like, there's countless examples of this, proper research telling us this, and now we go on the internet to go like, oh, the weather sucks. Well, the weather's amazing. Thanks, Sydney. Thanks, Australian winters. So technology is moving quickly, but we're not saying anything different. So I'm asking you guys to stay very human when you talk to your customers. Don't be like, and I've experienced this, like, there's this guy who's like, hey, I'm on Facebook, this is me on Facebook. And then there's this guy who's like, this is my business on Facebook. It's like super formal. It's like, don't be that. And don't be cheesy. Like, don't be like, hey, I'm wacky. Like, just be human. Because what you're trying to do is like, you're trying to intermingle a conversation between friends. That's what Facebook's about. That's what social media is predominantly about. Our friends connecting. So how are you as a company going to have this authentic conversation with those people? It's very tough.
CJ?
Excuse me, yeah.
Could you possibly give us some examples of how the guys can stay more human on their business pages? Because that's something that I don't do very well either.
Yeah.
Because I think I do it on Facebook because my family look at my Facebook page. Yeah. But on business, I do exactly what you just said I do. I'm very, very rigid and very, very straight up and down. I know this is business. So what's a way that we can tell the guys we can stay a little bit more about us and personal?
Well, I imagine you're a thought leader. I imagine you're a thought leader in the world of business, generally, wide spectrum. So talk about that. Because that's why people want to subscribe to the stuff that you're talking about. Like, it's kind of nice. I'll show you examples, but it's kind of nice to have what is the fluffy cat syndrome and be inspiration. I bet everyone's posting inspirational thought. Here's a really good example. So there's a UK toilet brand called Andrex. I don't know if it's here or not. And this dog comes on the internet every day and goes like, "Morning." I'm like, that's great. 50,000 people liked it. I don't think anyone goes into Woolworths or Coles and then says to themselves, "Oh, that dog is awesome. I'm going to buy his toilet paper." You know? And it's how you converse with your audience. It doesn't necessarily need to be like, business of results are going up by 50%. It's more about like, this wide spectrum. It's like, how are you growing your business? What are your thoughts about it? Like, people talk, because we ask questions every day. It's a really good question, actually. Like, lots of people, Commonwealth Bank of Australia didn't want to be on social media because everyone wants to slam them. Same with Telstra, same with Vodafone. But we talk about it on the street every day. We talk about, like, what contract shall I get for my phone next? And don't go with Vodafone, their network sucks. Like, that conversation is taking place. The opportunity for you, and I mean, like, if it's super boring, if it's insurance, which is kind of boring, hopefully there is no one in here in insurance, like, it's not necessarily have to be boring. You know, real estate doesn't have to be so rigid. Like, real estate agents have asked me a few times about, like, how can they be on Facebook, everyone's going to slam them. It's kind of like, not. If you give people tips about how to sell their home properly in very bite-sized versions, people are going to value you. People are going to then remember who you are as an agent and not put you in this big world of, here's another agent, here's another photographer, here's another accountant. Like, hi.
Would you do that by saying something, or would you be able to?
Another good question. So it's about whether we do videos or not. No, I think that, so the opportunity that you have with social media is not to say too much whatsoever. So the less if I can take a 3-minute video and break it down into 3-second pieces for the next 20 days, I'm really happy about that. Because I don't have to wake up the next day going like, oh, what should I say today? You know? I'm sure we've all gone through that. It's like, what do I say? Yeah, yeah. We can go through a live example and stuff. We'll go through it. Anyway, so have we got sound? Oh, cool. Yeah, we're up. Yeah. So let's think of it. Let's go back to what I was saying about technology. Technology's moving quickly. Now it's starting to, you know, this piece of technology was enormous. It was actually a social product. Amazing. Like, we used to gather around the television and watch this device. Or when the telephone rang, we'd probably all run to our bedrooms because we were worried we were in trouble when it first came out. But, like, social's very different now. We don't have to go through, like, my memory of television in my family is like my father coming home from the factory, picking up the remote control and flicking, till he found that, like, that TV show that he wanted to enjoy. Pretty arduous task. Then he'd go into the factory next day and he'd be talking to his mates about what he watched. And then he'd come home and he'd do exactly the same thing, time again. The television's completely shifting as a product itself because social's making it change. Even on the surface, whether it's like, and this is kind of like, I'm not just talking for the sake of talking here. I bet you've all seen people talking about X Factor, sports, current sports, Rabbitohs doing this or that, time for bingo, and then the other thing's like, just that one comment by one person saying time for bingo actually engaged, she's just making a statement for herself. You know, it's just a tiny piece of content. This is why you don't need a 3-minute video, because you can actually engage hundreds of people who are trying to actually build networks and trying to be seen, and Jay Sanderson probably just trying to be funny and build, you know, relationships very quickly. Anyway, and then, like, so powerful. So Golden Girls series ended. I hope you all know the Golden Girls, otherwise I'm way old. But like Betty White, career done, great job. Like, one person actually created a group on Facebook just saying, let's get American, of course. Like, let's get Betty White to host Saturday Night Live. That was it. That group, I think, in a month, went up to about 500,000 people. It's not huge for an American population, but it changed something. And rather than me give you all the inspirational talk about how FARC in Colombia got pulled down because of a Facebook group, I want to keep it lighthearted. But so she actually got to host Saturday Night Live, 346,000 people at the time. This is her thanking it. It should be. I'll come back to it. It's kind of funny. It should work. So she makes this comment about Facebook being a massive waste of time. And I definitely want to play it. It's good. And it's a really nice segue into this chart. Like, this is the internet. This is the state of the internet today. Is 20%, 1 in every 5 minutes on the internet is on Facebook itself. If you're not doing it properly, you're missing a beat. If you're advertising on the radio, if you're advertising in if bus shelters, like, if you can afford to do that, then that's great. But if you're not effectively marketing on Facebook and spending money and time, get it, you're missing something, because 20% is here, and probably the other 15 minutes is on your bank or something. But it's not just about the amount of time. Every time Facebook launches a new product, whether we like it or love it or loathe it, sharing doubles as a result. The company actually creates better services for us every day. They actually launch a new product that you'll see it or not every 24 hours. There's no company like it in the world. You know, someone like Microsoft, they might change their homepage and make it sky blue versus turquoise or whatever. There'll be a 6-month PR campaign talking to the press about how there's going to be this revolutionary change on the homepage. And then launch would happen, and then it died down over the next 6 months. Literally, they're launching new products every day. Facebook got translated in 24 hours to every country in the world because they didn't have any engineers that knew how to speak French. So what they did is create an application where we could go and vote for the translation of that word, poke, you know, like poke or like in those words, status update. We just let people translate it. And then suddenly Facebook went from 100 million to 800 million in 24 hours. It's incredible. And going back to that time thing as well, it's starting to get a bit deeper in what I'm talking about here, is there's a new shift happening. And I think it's something that we should be highly aware of. I think this could be the biggest thing potentially since television. It's not like the internet or Facebook or anything like that, but we're not really accessing the internet now or social on our desktops. I mean, I say that, we're still spending 6 hours a month on it, but we're spending 8 or 9 hours on Facebook on our mobile. And that's where you as a business need to be. You need to be in someone's hand. Especially if you're a retailer, amazing. But people are just standing at the bus stop bored. You need to be in that moment. It's fundamentally shifting, seriously, it's fundamentally shifting how we do business as companies. And there's hundreds of examples. And I always like to look at this slide or this image, because imagine you guys were a board of directors, right? And I was like, hey, I just want you to invest in this new advertising platform I've got for you. It's called the Billboard. And you guys would be like, okay, what does it do? And I'll be like, okay, what it does is meant to distract you from driving. I'm like, what? That's not good. Like, because I'm too busy texting whilst I'm driving anyway, so I don't want to be distracted from that. Like, my point here is, like, other forms of marketing and advertising is a bit of a race to the bottom these days. To be kind of like in your face, disruptive, it's going to break. The model's broken. And they're still racing to the bottom. It's how you can charge your phone at the bus stop. And that kind of explains to me that people are using the mobile rather than looking at the advertising on the bus stop. Is that vitamin water now need to bring someone even closer to their new yellow drink by putting a plug in it's amazing. And it's having a fundamental shift in what's happening in the media. And like I said, like, other platforms are just having a torrid time. You can't even get to you can see at the top, you can't even get to the homepage of a website without a commercial break. Like, that's weird. You have to wait for 3 to 5 seconds before I can even see these headlines. Like, it's just freaky. Yeah, so it's just whether you can. So some's uninitiated sound on ads. Some companies give you the choice to watch it or not. YouTube. So YouTube wouldn't want to lose users, of course. So they give you that nice option to skip the ad after you've seen the first 5 seconds, of course. So they get paid by the advertiser, and they're not bastardizing the user, so to speak. Whereas Fairfax, which is The Age and Sydney Morning Herald, sometimes they go to the trouble of making you choose which advert you have to watch before you get to the content that you want to see. Yeah, that was written about in the press really nicely. Do you want to watch this tampon advert, or you want to watch this toilet roll advert before you see the sports update? Like, no, it's not. And then so you got to think about, like, when is advertising actually shared? Like, when is it really engaging? Probably the Super Bowl Sunday is when adverts are cool and funny. It's the one day of the year. This is, if you've seen this one, it's amazing. Has anyone seen this video? Yeah, it's brilliant. I'll definitely try and play this one. The kid just wants to be Darth Vader, and then the dad literally uses his key to unlock it, and the lights go off, and then he's, yeah. It's brilliant. It's great. There's millions of dollars of production and thinking and time spent trying to think, like, how can I be the awesomest ad on the Super Bowl? Whereas, like, on Facebook, you can say one thing and it's shared by 100 people immediately. Turnstile Prince was shared by more people this morning than people shared that ad for the Super Bowl. Like, that's ridiculous. And so I really want you guys to think about how you can manage that. This is just a very quick thing about, like, the concept of Facebook advertising. Is it should be complementary to the experience that you're having. It's the reasons we buy magazines. There's two kind of theories here. So you buy magazines like Vogue because you, like, go through it and you actually want to see the advertising because it's very artistic. You actually want to see it. It's complementary to what you're doing. Going on Google, so I didn't just grab this, like, clearly, I like skinny jeans. Like, it's complementary to what I'm doing, and that's amazing. That's what it needs to be. Your marketing needs to be just part of the experience that I'm having. So some of you probably see on Facebook some ads now in your newsfeed. I imagine, do you see ads in your newsfeed, or do you notice them or not? So a lot of people go like, that's so annoying. I find it really irritating. Well, not really. If you're relevant, if you're a person like skinny jeans, and I suddenly get this ad for General Pants telling me about the new range of skinny jeans, it's fine. It's complementary to the experience that I'm having. And that's what we're trying to do. Yep, shareable marketing. And then, oh yeah, so I just want to come up, there is a video here. I just want to show you the power of newsfeed. So advertising on Facebook's always been on the right-hand side. And you just, you know, you're awash of like 7 ads, like meet hot girls in your area or something like that, or just get weight loss this, weight loss that. It's not where you want to be. You want to be in newsfeed, and I'll show you exactly why you want to get there.
I was at the grocery store with my kids, and a woman in front of me was just very upset. She'd lost her wallet and had a big cart of groceries and couldn't pay for them. I tapped her on her shoulder and just said, hey, look, you know, if I pay for your groceries, will you send me a check? I went on Facebook and I posted to my friends, just paid for a stranger's $207 grocery bill, and vacillating between feeling really good and very, very stupid. The next day, I got a check in the mail from Jenny for $300 with just this lovely note saying, thank you so much for trusting me and helping me out. I really appreciate it. Please take the extra money, which was $93. So I got back on Facebook and said, well, what would you guys do? And people very quickly came back with, give it to charity. So I decided to match the $93. Okay, so it's $186. Where should the money go? People would suggest, well, how about the Second Harvest Food Bank? This whole thing happened around food. That's a great place. And then a friend of mine posted saying, I am so touched by all this that I want to match that $93 as well. And then another one did it, and another one, and another one, and the whole thing just exploded. We've raised over $83,000 with about another $10,000 to go to try and reach this $93,000 goal. A single posting on the Facebook page, and these comments started coming in from all over the world. It really, truly made me realize that this great big world is actually stunningly small when we're all connected.
That was back in 2010. It's all nice and fluffy, but there's a key point there. You can have massive, massive success, and again, I'm kind of repeating, is that if you're saying the right thing to the right person at the right time, you're going to resonate and you're going to have massive successes. So please start asking yourselves this question. Are people aware of you? Are people considering you? Are you converting your traffic, or your people that are coming to your Facebook page, or who you're talking to across Facebook? And are they loyal? Are they advocates of what you're doing? Consistently ask that question to yourself and think about that. They're the fundamentals to what I want to do for my business and help other businesses achieve. Yeah, so I said this. Technology moves fast, people don't. So you've got to reach this right person, right? We'll get to this scenario. So you're trying to reach the Geelong cat, maybe, and give them the best experience with the right amplification. And the amplification is the hidden thing that Nick would have come down from Facebook and would be like, tell you all this really nice stuff about strategy and content and production, and whether you should put a video on your page or not. But what he really wants you to do is go buy ads. That's exactly what he wants you to do. And you should, quite frankly, because it's the most effective way for you to sell product. It is guaranteed return on investment. Yeah, yes. So, okay. So have you all seen, like, when you post and it says boost post? So that's Facebook trick. It's a Facebook trick, that one. It's like, it's a machine. It's the engineers going, make them put 20 bucks on it. Make them put 20 bucks on it. Because Facebook went public a year and a half ago, and their shareholders are saying, like, find other ways to make money. It's purely that. But you've got to really think about, like, why should I boost that post? Why should I boost that post? Because well, imagine if you put $100 on a fluffy cat. What's it going to achieve for you? It's not. It's not. People start engaging with the fact that you've got 25% off sale, boost the hell out of it. Because people want to hear about it, you know? And you want to let people know because you want them to sell. So let's do a quick 5-minute session on content. Content's really massive. It's huge for me. And what they generally do is, like, these big companies, by the way, they employ graduates, and they probably pay them $25,000 a year, called content community managers, and their job every day is to just post to the Facebook wall and Twitter and Instagram. And they get paid this $35,000 a year because it's not deemed to be important. Wrong. It's probably as important as the chief marketing officer. We're trying to say the right thing. We're trying to break through friends talking to each other with my business. It's such an important thing. So Nike do it really well. They're not talking about Michael Jordan anymore. They're talking about this dude who's the everyday athlete. This guy who's really working hard to achieve his goals, and they want to sponsor it. That's 4 words. That was articulated in 4 words. That's huge. It doesn't have to be long-winded content by any stretch of the imagination. It's your image. It's the image that you use that tells the story on Facebook and social media today. Absolutely. Think about the images you're pushing out. Please. And again, Coca-Cola, amazing. So everyone knows about Coca-Cola. If they ask that question about, are people aware of us? Yes, they are. Are people considering us? Well, generally, because you're forced into it. But what about the loyalty space? Well, we want to own happiness. That's what we are. We're Coca-Cola, and we're going to go with that theme. We're going to go with that theme for a long period of time. And so I'll run TVCs, and I'll run posters, and I'll own King's Cross with the Coca-Cola term. But on Facebook, I'm just going to create a cup with some remnants of Coca-Cola with a smile on it. And that's done everything. That's it. Keep smiling. That's incredible advertising. It's incredible marketing. This is my client, Aquabumps. Doesn't say anything, says very little. Again, it's the image is doing entirely the talking. Naturally, your eyes just going, pretty nice sunrise. I can see more information at the website. Done. Doesn't overthink it. 162 people shared it. It's a nice sunrise. But that's what he does. He takes pictures of sunrises. Doesn't just post a picture of a sunrise here. It's very important to remember this. And people like Air New Zealand just repurpose old school content, because stuff that's worked in magazines and in the past can be used on social, and certainly if it's amusing. And then we'll talk about targeting. I think I've got a few more examples actually. So if you got that content right, I did include some really great stuff, but we'll find it. So if you're mastering the content piece, then if you feel confident that you're saying the right stuff, then you want to actually find that person that you want to talk to. You've got lots of options, huge amount of options. Best in class targeting. So you're a retailer and you want to get people interested in fashion, and you know that your target audience is probably between 18 and 29, because general pants or something like that, right? Or you stock skinny jeans. Well, you want to reach these people. And you don't want to reach these people because you assume that they're going to be going to this website. You don't want to reach mums because you're assuming they're on KidSpot. But I could be on KidSpot. So why are you advertising there? Because it's wasted. It doesn't resonate with me. So I want to reach these people. On Facebook, you can reach 50,000 people today that's stipulated that I have a child between the age of 0 and 3. That's off the charts. I'm willing to tell advertisers that I have a kid. I have a newborn. In fact, we tell Facebook what mobile network we access, which has created this great race between Telstra trying to talk to people accessing via Optus. But that's how deep the targeting goes on this product. Yes, yeah, absolutely. So you just go to facebook.com/ads, and then there's this tool, and you'll go reach whoever you'll go start thinking about who you want to talk to. It's a very quick, simple, I'll go through it if you want. But it's like real easy drop down, like people interested in sport, or people interested in so going back to that print example, we run 2 campaigns. One was like just people interested in AFL, and then people interested in Buddy Franklin. And more people bought those prints because Buddy Franklin was on one of those prints, and we target them. So you can go that deep. Here, coming back here, so dead set simple, really nice, really easy to do. It's because we're just so open with the company as well. What Facebook can do is now match. If you guys have, do any of you guys have like a database of people that you talk to, like emails? Great, okay. So there's 2 ways of reaching people. You either like have their address. If you're the NRMA, I'll send an envelope saying, hey, come and use the NRMA because we're the best insurance company. And I open up that envelope and I'm like, right, I'll rip it up and throw it in the bin. So that was wasted because I'm already a customer of the NRMA. So why send me that? Or I might get an email, but on average, I think email open rates are about 30% of all the emails you send. So why not instead actually like match the people that access Facebook via their email address or via their mobile phone number. So if you're Domino's Pizza, you've got a bunch of phone numbers, and push content to them that's already open. It's guaranteed open. And you can get so smart. So I'm a customer of Range Rover. I bought a Range Rover 5 years ago. Let's imagine. Range Rover knows that I bought that Range Rover 5 years ago, can specifically find me as Greg Smith and go, it's time he upgraded. We want to push specific content about our new model. Now, if it's Lindsay, she's only had a Range Rover for a year, she probably wants to get advertising or marketing or content about upgrades or about servicing. Come to our service dealers, service their network. It's that smart. It's that smart. Facebook knows exactly who we are, and now the advertiser has this opportunity to talk to them on that basis. And then you can also look at all this engineering capability can actually go like, here's CJ Hudson, he likes surfing. What are the other people doing on Facebook? Very similar to him, because we want to reach lookalikes. And now you can start to reach those people. So essentially targeting is enormous. Proven, not by Facebook, by third-party companies, surveying hundreds of thousands of people in Australia, in the UK, in America, to see these results. Massive, massive results. So I'm so proud to have worked there. So that this day is starting to die. And then you've got to think about the right amplification. Oh, I want to show you this one. So this is great content. This is going back to that content piece. So this is Newcastle Brown Ale, a beer, and major brand. And everyone's saying to them like, you got to think about your Facebook likes. You got to think about your people talking about you. You want to look at your likes, comments, shares, and engagement. And they're like, no, we're just going to be humorous, but not humorous for no reason. It's talking about exactly what we are. And Newcastle Brown Ale stands for the term, expletive, but no bollocks. That's it. No messing, no nonsense. And so they start producing content based on that. Like this guy wanted to put lime in a beer, he doesn't work there anymore. It's very amusing, lots and lots of things like that. So then I want to talk about, hopefully I haven't dragged slides into the wrong space, but I'm coming back to amplification. When are you talking to your customers? Oh yeah, I will have a bit more content. So this is the Yellow Pages, surveyed Australians. If you actually Google Australian social media report with census, it's a really interesting document. See where people are shifting, businesses like ourselves are shifting monies from traditional marketing into social and what social platforms they're doing it on. And it looks at when we're going on Facebook as well. And it's incredible. Like, I do it myself, but my mind boggles. Is as soon as we wake up, so, we're checking Facebook as soon as we wake up. I'm not sure it's good for families, quite frankly, but and then last thing before I go to bed, just got to have that fix. So we should be talking to our customers then. That's when we should be talking to them and thinking about how we talk to them. I'll come back to this video in a sec. So, yeah.
Can you program it to go on certain time?
Yes. Yeah, you can schedule it. You can schedule the next year and go on holiday for a year. Yeah, at specific times. So the challenge now, though, across because how we access Facebook is so different, and people are moving more to the mobile phone, is quite frankly the internet companies have a problem. So if you go on Microsoft or Yahoo today, for instance, you'll probably see on their homepage there's probably about 15 to 20 advertisers, from eBay to Amazon to Ancestry.com to the big walking ads. And now we're all on this mobile handset, so how are they going to get 15 ads on that space, Which creates another beautiful, beautiful opportunity. Now, us as small business can play in the same ballpark as Coca-Cola's money. That's awesome. We can take the full screen of this tablet or this mobile phone. How much money you would pay to take the full page of an internet company? Hundreds of thousands of dollars. To buy that a JC Deco panel, an ad shell panel in Sydney, just to have a panel for 2 weeks, it's $150,000. To have this enormous space here costs 50 cents a click. To have that space, to have that reach, beautiful. To have that resonance, because you've got your content right, awesome. To get that reaction, is you're only paying for the reaction. Unbelievable, mate. I'm so happy about what they did. And their advertising is slightly different too, and there's a quick video that will demonstrate it, but it's not broadcast. It's a very different format of advertising altogether, and it's called a sponsored story, which is all Facebook fluff and buzzwords, but essentially it's at the start this morning it was all about advocacy. What are your advocates going to go tell your friends about your business? Well, Facebook created an ad format that creates advocacy on your behalf without anybody even knowing it.
When we make decisions about the products we want to buy, the places we want to go, we're basically looking for cues from our friends about what those things should be. And all of us aren't out there trying to market ourselves or try to influence people to go somewhere or do something. But the reality is when we make a decision, we're looking for information, and we want that information to come from people we trust.
So the sponsored stories, what they let advertisers do is take these word of mouth recommendations and promote them. So, my friend Joe goes and he checks in to Starbucks. That'll appear on my newsfeed, and I may or may not see it. And what we've seen is that a lot of impressions do get lost because there's so much content coming through. Starbucks can come in and say, I want to promote check-ins to our locations. So when I come to the site, I see the story that my friend checked into Starbucks. Now I can click through, I can like the Starbucks page from that story. And when I like that page, it creates more organic content.
These word of mouth recommendations embody many different stories on Facebook. So, for example, for a restaurant, they can be check-ins, or if they have an application, can be user-published application stories.
Anything that one of your friends is seeing as a sponsored story, which features some of your content, is actually something they would have already seen in their newsfeed. A sponsored story never goes to somebody who's not one of your friends.
It's not this message that's saying, you should buy this thing or you should come to this website. It's your friend saying, look, I did this, and I want to tell you about it.
In our pilot cases, sponsored stories really increased a brand lift, especially ad recall and the likeliness to recommend to a friend. So we're very excited about this product.
We wanted to give a way for application developers, page owners, place owners to be able to promote their content that's as core to the user experience as newsfeed. And, I think with sponsored stories, we've created that.
It's a completely different form of advertising altogether. It just takes an action. So I went and bought this product off this company, and by actually making that purchase, then it can be boosted by our friends to here, into that spot, into that spot, into that spot. So it becomes extremely relevant. And then as we go further down the purchase funnel as well, like clear calls to action. So I always reference retail for some reason, but like the way in which we want to get people to buy now is to create offers. Simple. So you have that opportunity to either buy this product immediately, or you can actually pin it and just go like, kind of interested in getting that lawnmower, but not today. So I'll pin it and be reminded of it in the future. And so, because I choose that action. It's very similar to Pinterest if anyone's on there. And so you start to see these really great like all of those things brought together, reach, resonance, and create that reaction. And then like the nerds behind the scenes go push that reaction out to our 250 friends, start to have significant differences on what we're doing. And so so Aquabumps is, do you guys know Aquabumps? It's kind of iconic in the Bondi world. Is that it's beautiful imagery, he sells photos. He has this email that goes out to 80,000 people a day, and Telstra sponsor it, and Corona sponsor it, and that's his living. But his problem is everyone's going to his Facebook page to digest his content now, and not interested in his email. So Facebook's actually bastardizing his companies. Can't sell his emails. So he's like, what do I do about it? And he's like, you don't move off what you do. People are always going to share your content. They're always going to love it. Because it's really easy for me to like it. But just give a call to action. That's it. Just give a call to action. And we targeted Melbourne. Like no one in Melbourne knows about Aquabumps. But everyone in Melbourne wants, because they're in Melbourne, in kind of a concrete jungle-ish, they want this daily kind of reminder of what the world's like out there with the beach, without needles. So They've registered, yeah, and I think he increased his subscription by, I'm going to say 80%, every day that he's run advertising since then. And now he's going to Telstra saying, I have a Melbourne audience, so you're going to pay more for my email sponsorship. Should check it out. It's really great stuff. We work with a vitamin store in Chatswood. Literally awesome case study of a guy that just didn't have a clue what he was doing. He was taking other page content. Here's the epitome of someone going, I've got to be on Facebook because I've read about it, so I've got to be there. And people are going to come and love me on Facebook, aren't they? And it's like, no. And he was struggling for content and what to say and what his stories are about. So he was going to other vitamin websites, like, on Facebook, and taking their content and putting it onto his post, onto his wall. So he was essentially promoting other companies because he was sharing it to his wall. It was freaky, it was awful. So we wanted to start, and he needs to sell products. That's essentially it, just needs to sell products. So what we're trying to do is marry kind of just being, there's nothing exciting about Blackmore's Executive B. There's nothing interesting about it. But we want we incorporated an Instagram image rather than a stock photo, or sometimes we get professional photographers to come in and take images of our products, which look again very stiff and wooden. They're suited for catalogues, but not for social media. So we just incorporated an Instagram image, and we filtered it and made it more social at the heart. 112 people liked it. That's kind of nice to know. People wanted to comment about how they were full of fillers. We don't care about negative sentiment, quite frankly. We care about that link at the top, which is called a bit.ly URL, by the way. A bit.ly URL is just a way of shortening down www.mrvitamins.com.au, product this 100, and then we can track. So it results in sales. It's not, no creative genius there. It's just putting the right content in front of the right dude. People in high executive jobs. And did that.
So CJ,
yeah.
So where can we go to get the content? So there's lots of different industries in the room. Is there any websites out there that people can go and get content specific to their industry, whether it be articles or images or stuff like that, rather than coming up with the content themselves? Are there websites out there that we can get access to?
So we use products like ThinkStock. Do you know these massive image library companies? Oh, okay. So for instance, there's a company called ThinkStock, Getty Images. Yeah, literally Google just library photos. You'll get listed. But just 2 days ago, Facebook have done another great move. Facebook have done a deal with Getty Images because it's quite frankly, it's expensive. It's $100 a month to have access to all these beautiful images. If you remember that shark image, I didn't dive into the water and take the image. It's in a library, and you have to be very careful. You can't start taking other people's. You can't just Google image products because you'll get in trouble. Quite frankly, potentially sued. So Facebook have just done a deal, and they're rolling out today where you can get basically free images through their partnership with them. So it's a good question. It's actually quite hard. This is why it's quite challenging, is to invest your time into saying the right thing and getting the right image, rather than just saying something every day, or some brand speaking maybe 5 or 6 times a day on Facebook, just to have cut through. It's you've got to say the right thing, and which is why Wimbledon, one of my favourite Facebook pages is Wimbledon. And they only talk at June. They don't really talk about anything else. I don't think to myself in December, damn it, why haven't I heard from Wimbledon this week? So don't worry, or don't think to yourselves I've got to be saying something all the time on Facebook, because people quite frankly don't know you're there until you say something really relevant, really rich. That's the end of my first session, just it's kind of high level on everything that's happened. That's how stories are created. My story and business stories. Have you got anyone's got any specific questions about what they do? Yeah, hey.
How you going?
Good, thank you.
I'm a newbie to Facebook.
Sure.
But we are on there. I'm just trying to work out why my company site operates different than my personal Facebook. Is there a reason, you know, like you get a news feed on your personal, but if the company site doesn't operate like that?
No, it would look exactly the same.
One's a like page and one's a personal page.
Oh, okay.
So the like page operates in your personal.
Right. Can you change it?
No, your business needs to be a business page because it has, quite frankly, more functionality and things that you can do with it than our personal page. For instance, from my own personal profile, I can't produce an offer, or I can't run a competition. So, and the other thing is as well is you'll get to, I think it's 3,000 friends. A lot of companies do it. There's a natural, so.
Would it be beneficial for you guys if CJ showed you how to set up a business page correctly?
You can do that, absolutely.
The little steps to take and what you need to do. Would that be beneficial, guys? Yeah? All right.
All right, we'll do that. So this is a good example. So this is Laura's friend. She wants to become a naturopath, or she is. But she did it through an actual personal page. She really liked, and that's a shame because she's got 386 friends now who are actually really meant to be customers. But when she gets to 3,000, Facebook goes like, you got too many friends. Quite frankly, you don't. That's your limit. Whereas if you have a business page, it just never stops. So you definitely should have a page.
Can we set up a dummy page?
Yeah.
Is that possible?
Yeah.
You can look at my page if you want.
Well, we're going to do a live case study after our morning tea break.
Yeah.
So, so maybe now we might just use this time to...
Yeah, let's just do. We can just go off the
ad lib,
fly.
whatever. Yeah.
So hey, how you doing? Yeah.
One of my questions and other people is it's like basically you're already giving away from our own website.
Sure.
And we want activity on our own website. So
What do you want people to do on your website?
well, we want the activity for SEO. So if we get activity on our own site, then
But if you're on, let's flip it. If you're on Google Plus, so not if you produce YouTube videos, it's probably going to do better than SEO. Because then Mr. Google goes, that company is working really hard on our behalf. They're doing social media stuff. They're driving people into YouTube, and they're driving people into our Google Plus page, which is, by the way, Google Plus is no different from Facebook. It just doesn't reach as many people as Facebook. And then, so Google search engine goes, here's a legend of a company. We're going to put them at the highest ranking we can on search engine optimization. So, sure. Yeah. I mean, like, it's probably a longer conversation, but I'll try and, so this is how I think about it for me. My website is not great. It's there because I want someone to actually go, oh, they're a real company. They've got a phone number and they've got an email. But everything else I do will be off Facebook and Twitter and Google Plus and YouTube. Like that is where all my time will be spent because that's where I can be an expert, a thought leader, hopefully, expert, a thought leader, create my advocates. Oh, and by the way, 1 in every 5 minutes on the internet is on Facebook. Why am I in this race to try and get people to come to my website? I'm going to do my talking on Facebook. So I'm not saying that you should ignore your website, certainly from obviously commerce reasons and real, qualification of what you do. When people want to engage further with you, then they'll come into your website and they'll qualify what's happening. So another example is how Jetstar have a team of 25 people in marketing on digital. 15 of those people are now in social media, switched on. Because when people are ready to actually pull the trigger and buy the product, they'll just go and do it.
Do you think it's a shift of a mindset too, CJ?
Excuse me?
Do you think it's a shift of a mindset where we've always just gone website, forum, we're
Yes.
now maybe getting in our head that maybe it's Facebook, social media. Get your head up and see that social media is the place where it's going, and that's where people can interact there.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, so I'm sure we're all used to seeing like massive evangelists talk about the internet, the interweb, and how you probably should, you know, have like really great videos on the homepage of your website, and I think that all works. And I think it's great and it's really important, but you don't need to be an expert to know that everyone's on this thing. The data speaks for itself. There's 1 billion people around the world, not including China, on Facebook. That's intense. And they're spending 9 hours a month on Facebook, and its closest competitor is YouTube, which you'd think would run toe for toe, and people spend 1 hour on YouTube. Yeah, unless you're 15, which is true. But yeah, unless you've got a son or a daughter. So the paradigm shift is just the web has become social, because the world's better when people are recommending the movies that they're watching and restaurants they go into. I hope that answers your question. Hey. How you doing?
Good. Is it fair enough to say that really what you've been trying to tell us is that Facebook... No, I've just been listening here and it keeps on bouncing back in my head.
Sure.
And if I got this right, what you're trying to say to us is that the fundamental element of selling is being able to sell yourself. And Facebook is one platform in which we can sell ourselves, not so much our company.
Yeah, absolutely. Nail on the head.
Yeah. So what you've been trying to say is about being real and about being interested. It's no different than when someone walks into your business.
Or on the street.
But the first thing you want to do is actually connect with them, find something of relevance to them.
Yes.
And then you can sell them whatever you want.
Yes, absolutely. And kind of Facebook gives you the opportunity to continue to tell that person your story. It just doesn't stop. They don't walk out of your store, so to speak, because they're following you now, or they're following you on via their mobile. But so you've got it, spot on. Sir?
So you sort of, with this whole electronic thing, because that's something we're sort of trying to get into, so you sort of use your Facebook to like introduce yourself to your customers, and then they can come and try and get them across the website, walk in the shop or whatever.
Yes.
Find out more about it. Like, Facebook's more about getting that first contact. Is that sort of...
No, well, I actually, 2 years ago I would say yes, but today you can do everything through the purchase funnel. Like, I don't want to overcomplicate it. So, if you think about television isn't going to make you buy a product. It's more about this is the product, and it's reaching millions of people, you know? Like, VB's a great beer during grand final. Brilliant. I'm not going to rush out the door and buy a crate. But I know that it's a beer that stands for sport. Then VB needs to go, right, how am I going to get people to consider us more and more and more? So probably we'll build a website with a game on it or something like that. Or I will start to feature in publications that people are reading every week, let's say AFL magazine or something like that. I'm just spitting here. So that we're kind of moving through a world of purchase funnel. And then they'll create lots of coupons or do a deal with Woolworths and Coles to go, when people are in store, I want them to buy VB, so let's do a $5 offer. Does that make sense? On Facebook, you can do all of that. On Facebook, you can pretty much reach everyone in Wollongong and just say, my company is, I'm an accountant, and the reason I'm an accountant is because I love coming to work and helping other people out every day. People are suddenly aware with you. Then on Facebook, you probably want to go, so tell us when doing your taxes is most important to you. Is it panic response, or are you well prepared? Start going like, I'm always panic. It's always panicky. Makes my life a nightmare. Okay, now's the time to pull the trigger and go like, I'm going to offer $100 off. Anybody coming to use my services as an accountant for tax time. You can do all of that through Facebook. But only once you've made people aware, and only once you started engaging with people, can you pull that trigger. Otherwise, it's literally like me coming into this room today going like, I'm cool and awesome, and you have to hear that from me. You're going to hate me. It's very disruptive. So I'm ignoring there was a lady.
Yeah, Susan down the back, did you have a question?
No, I had a comment to Craig being right.
So guys, what about if we go through this process? Because and CJ's amazing at showing you ways to set up a Facebook business page.
Or no. my business partner's amazing at that, but I'll give it a go. Let's go.
Thanks very much. All right, well, let's do it because...
Let's have a go.
Yeah, why not?
All right, so facebook.com, pages, /pages. Okay, there you go. So, green button, create page. Local business. So you have all this selection here. Are you a musician? Are you a brand? All those kind of things. What do you want to be? So you probably want to be a local business.
So who's gone through this process, guys? Yeah, cool.
Okay. But is this relevant for some people? Okay. Of course. Just because the audience today. If I'm Coca-Cola, I'd probably choose a brand. No, I'd probably go product or a brand. It's a good. It doesn't really, or a company or an organisation. It doesn't really. It's not going to do much. It's just categorisation. Well, let's go there. Let's actually. So I changed my mind. I'm going to be. Someone want to say what they want to be?
Okay, so maybe Betty, if you want to go recruitment, perhaps. Do you want to have a crack at it? Yeah. What would you? If we go company or organisation, just throw it out there, and we're going to select a subcategory for what? Okay, all right. Well, say something else. Okay, do
retail. We've got retail. Yeah, of course we agree to the terms and services. What do we want to call the company? Excuse me? I sell. That's not good. That's not good. Okay, and then so I don't sell drugs. It's not actually that great. Then you just link through to your own website anyway.
So making sure you do have that link through to your website from your Facebook page.
Sure. You can
so what you were saying, Grant, I think having your Facebook page and your website, they work side by side. Rather than doing one or the other strategy, they complement each other.
Okay, this is go. Let's see what we can do. I've got my own website.
So how many likes we got on Facebook, generally? On your business page, do you know? Just shout them out. 140. How much? 140? 250? 80? 3,200, Tony. Wow, that's pretty impressive. How long you had that? 2 years, nice.
So I think that's great. I think that number, just what you should be thinking is 200 times 250 people, which is actually who you can really reach with any meaning, because like your customers or your fans are following you for that reason, but they've got all these friends that you want to start publishing your story to as well. Because there's nothing better than, so I see Roger Federer holding a Gillette razor, doesn't make me want to go buy that Gillette razor. If my brother, who's my closest friend and ally, says, hey, you should check out this Mac 3, it's awesome, I'll go buy it. And that's essentially what your fans and then their friends can have that effect on Facebook, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, and then I can choose a profile picture. So let's say it's a screenshot. Here's a screenshot I took for this morning. I don't know why it's not there. So by the way, like that's an image I can show. I'm going to show you an image. I'm just going to get into it. Are we okay for time? Yeah. What, minute or two? Okay, so here's two things I looked at. Here's a client that I work with that we actually stopped working with because we just didn't see eye to eye, quite frankly. Now, this is what her company's about, and it's really good company. She's an expert in food safety. So she speaks to anybody handling food. And she's a thought leader, and she's like she knows her stuff back to front. Awesome. She wanted to reach more people, and she wants people to feel that she's the natural choice. So I said, don't do this, and she did, and continued to do it. And why? Like, and why? How's that going to make me think, oh, I need this food expert? It's not. Whether we all like inspirational quotes or not, be aware that there's probably 25,000 other companies doing that right now, because we're all trying to get that piece of engagement. So we decided not to work with each other anymore because she wants to continue to do that.
What did you want her to put on? What was sort of the content that you thought would be useful for her?
So I was all about, and she did start to incorporate it, is like consumer-based food expert tips. So, and there's lots and lots of things about that. So, what's my thing? I'll show you. It's really hard, you know. Like you're on Facebook, it's business to business, and you're trying to talk about food safety. It's like that's dull, and it's really. Sorry, I'm sometimes a bit too direct. Okay, so I'll just show you real quick. So let's get to there. Bear with me. We stopped working with each other a while ago. Right, don't quit, keep going. Kind of, all right. Bending the road is the end of the road. You fail. 8 people liked it. Here's another great example of like not thinking about your image correctly because it's tiny. Like it's so important to get it right. And then we ran with. Sorry, it's taken a while. Let's go with, what do we go with here? Oh, where are you? Sorry guys. Not seeing it. It's not that. But we posted like, so basically, the effects, so the message was this beautiful hot pizza, because everyone loves pizza, and then it was like, what's the actual implications of putting pizza in the fridge and then reheating it in the microwave the next day? You can't say all that. So it's like implications of like unhealthy use of pizza. So the image of the pizza instantly drew a number of people's attention, and then it was kind of like find the real story about leaving pizza out and eating the next day, click through to my website, and then we're driving people into the website, where then people can qualify how much of an expert she was. I apologise, I didn't find that. Anyway, so there was a lot more, absolutely, because it's very human. Like people were like, did you eat pizza last night? What did you eat last night? And what, that's it. Absolutely. Like if you don't think that what you're going to post is worthy to your business, there's like what we call a value exchange. If it's not worthy to your business, and it's not worthy to the person that's going to see it, don't do it. And it's okay not to do it. Like I said about Wimbledon, it's like if you're not feeling it, just don't post it until you are. Kind of like you wouldn't just write a book, you know. Okay. So then here's a spot where you can add a cover image. Let's see if I can find something. Again, it's all very like just self-explanatory. Let's go with running. It does all the hard work for you. Do you know, I've never been in that area, but the way I imagine it is I would say that's spamming people. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's like the donkey in Shrek. It's like, pick me. And that's what, because people suddenly go, let's say I've got 250 friends on Facebook, and a portion of them are just going like my page. It becomes a really bad user experience, and then people don't use Facebook anymore. And that's what scares the life out of Mark Zuckerberg. So he's very protective over anything that's kind of spammy.
But when they're your actual friends and have a personal relationship with them, I think, because I recommend to my clients that if they're good friends and they're potentially interested in business, then why not send them that initial email saying, hey guys, I'm setting up this page if you're interested,
Yeah.
rather than keep promoting it and posting it in the newsfeed saying, hey guys, this is my page, hey guys, this is my page. If
Sure.
you send them an initial email and say, if you're interested, here's my page, you can like it. Because
So-
I find that's a good way to get some traction because you've got a lot of friends that are interested in what you do. So
Yeah, so I wouldn't do it for the sake of just getting likes. Yeah.
yeah, but if they're a valid, see, I've got a lot of friends that are business owners and I do communication with businesses. So
Sure.
why wouldn't I send them that initial email?
So it comes down to so this is opinion piece. Yeah. So this is opinion. Like you're probably right. I'm probably wrong. But if you study,
Yes, so CJ's talking about engagement. Yeah, and like you said, it is an opinion.
Sure.
But if you want engagement and you want people to actually be interested in your product, not just like you as a friend, which then, because getting your friends and inviting them to like your business page, you're just getting more likes, aren't you? Just
Yeah.
creating that number, which isn't really engagement.
But if your friends are business owners, and
Yeah, only if they're relevant, I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with you.
it's just kind of
Then what's the harm?
it goes down to the principles of homography.
Yeah.
I will ask you the question. I'll repeat the question. Are you going to put the drunk kid from college next to your mum at your wedding?
It's not a good looking night.
No, and so it's which is basically homography, and homography gives the rules that actually out of all of our friends, 250 friends, we've probably got 3 to 5 people that we really care about. Now, for me, it's my brother and a few mates from football, and that's it. And so, so anything outside of that network is deemed to be spam by the engineers and the strategists at Facebook, allowing you to just go, here's this pointless content.
No, I completely appreciate it and agree. But I'm saying if you've got 5 friends, then you only email those 5 friends. who are interested.
Yeah, fair point.
So
Yeah.
that's fine.
good.
I mean, and this is opinion stuff, not.
Yeah.
So
Same.
my one where I sort of disagree, like say Dixon Clothing, I've never heard about it before. Right?
Yep.
If I go and put Dixon Clothing on the web, like when you first started, and then just leave it there, what's the chance that someone's going to type in Dixon and find your product? So obviously the way that I'll think about it is if you send that out to all your friends list, whether they want it or not, they're not instantly made to like it. They're just made aware. So I think the whole thing with advertising in general is creating an awareness, not so much selling the product.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm going to
Yeah.
disagree on that. But like,
Yeah,
Absolutely
and what we're
not.
going to talk about, I think after the break, CJ, we're going to pick someone. We're actively going to go into their Facebook page.
yeah, we'll
And-
just do analysis and stuff like that. Yeah. So okay, awesome. So Steve Dixon has a business called Breakthrough for Business. I only know that because he's my mate. Suddenly we became friends, and he invited me to know about that. Thanks, Steve. Oh look, there's Jesse. Oh look, there's Julian. Oh, there's Sports Illustrated Women. Like, I tell you what, I'm just going to hang out on this one for a minute. I'm suddenly not aware of Steve's business anymore. News is like, this is the thing. We should get off that image. Right. All right, there. So like, because this thing, if you guys use Facebook, you go to the bathroom, have a coffee, it'll be completely different newspaper. This is your hand-delivered newspaper to your door every second of every day. If you look at anyone else's newsfeed, it's weird because it's not relevant. This is going to be gone in minutes. So by the virtue of the fact me going like, hey guys, here's my retail shop to my friends, they were like, that's cool, that's nice. It's good to know. But Sports Illustrated just came up. So it's more about, let's reach people interested in sports gear. Let's reach football clubs at grassroots level because I can find them. And then I'll start to invite them and have this ongoing conversation with them about the quality of my gear is better than Umbro. And then I start to think about buying. And that's classic marketing. That's my opinion. So, hello.
Just so I can get it right, simple one. The objective is to really boost your likes first and then start to make the offers so then you can engage that person, or is it the other way around?
Well, the way I think about, so likes is just a community of people that are interested in hearing about your products and services. That's it. You shouldn't think about boosting likes, because people will naturally, if they're aware of what you do, awareness, they'll then engage, which is generally liking. So it's just really telling your story to as many people as, I'm going to use another example. I'm going to use the example. So here's this Chatswood store. Basically what we're doing, we didn't ask anybody to do anything. We didn't ask them to like the page. Their story is that they basically sell vitamins, just like Chemist Warehouse. I'm like, yeah, but you've got to point a difference. And they're like, yeah, we have naturopaths in the store, so we give expert advice, like truly expert advice. So, sorry that the internet's a little bit slow on my computer, but basically we just posted that. Like, it was an image of fruit and a heart. So it was kind of like in that fluffy cat area, but it spoke to the value of like, we're a health food store, we give great advice, and by the way, you can get it pretty cheap too. The amount of engagement, and then people just went, I like them. I like them for the fact that they have naturopaths in store and they're reasonably priced. They're not the cheapest. So it's just whatever your story is or your business is that's my strategy, is go to the world and tell them I work in social media services. And when you want to buy our products, you probably find out about me more because I've continued to talk to you over a longer period of time. This stuff is probably, we draw this stuff out, but yeah.
There's advertising strategies on Facebook which are designed to increase the reach of offers.
Yeah, there's loads of strategies. So the way I think about so that's Facebook just monetizing people without strategy. It's kind of like, let's give you, here's the licorice all sorts. Choose what you want, and then pay money to us, and you'll have nice results. Like, you'll grow your fan base because you optimize for growing your fans. Brilliant. But like, whether that fan's someone who actually wants to buy your product, we don't know. And that's the whole thing about Boost. Boost is like, let's see if we can get people just to reach more people. You click the button, you put $10 on it, you go, you reached 20,000 people today. Great. You possibly reach 20,000 people in Indonesia, by the way. Like, but it doesn't matter because it's only $20. So unless you use really finite, going back to my fluffy stuff about stencil, like unless you use really finite targeting and really work hard at who the audience is and then say the right thing and then spend that $20, and it's only $20, I'd rather do that than just have anyone boost a post. Locations? Yep. Because he saw it?
He saw it, and obviously he was got that target to him, but he wasn't sold to that target.
Because most likely someone shared that content, or someone there's a number of... Yeah, that happens a lot.
So it wasn't from targeting directly from Facebook, or maybe from...
No, so you will always have that. So like, I'll give... Yeah, so what happens is, you take the rough with the smooth, quite frankly. What happens is, right, so I target people in Chatswood or in Wollongong. What's this suburb called? Okay, Wollongong, right? We reach people interested in health foods and products, or apples, or cutting hearts out of apples in Wollongong. And we tell them this message, and I'm pretty much just trying to force people into my website, or ask them to come to my website. 28 people liked this piece of content, okay? By me going to being that person that liked it, what happens is, now imagine I'm not CJ, imagine I'm this guy on the right, suddenly it will say, CJ liked this content from Mr. Vitamins. I'm actually in Chatswood, Sydney, not Wollongong. So by the fact that we're sharing marketing content for free, I'd take the rough with the smooth. Rather than him going, stop pushing content to my newsfeed, what he probably hasn't seen is the fact that it was me that shared that content. That's what we see. But it's human. It's kind of a human nature thing.
Yeah. Guys, we are going to have to leave it there for this session. We're going to. It's now 11 o'clock. So put your hands together, guys, for CJ. Thank you very much, mate.